We slowly made our way across the
water
and joined Aria with our son on the other side. Immediately, Aria jumped up and flew over to me. "Oh, by the goddesses, I see that you managed to get the creature here," Lily inquired as she floated in a circle in front of me. Nodding, I looked into her small eyes. "Yep, but we must get him back to the castle. How did little Link do while we were away?" I watched as Aria's eyes grew brighter. "Just fine. He was over by the horses playing in the flowers." Aria returned as she flew over to him. Looking back over to Link, my smile faded. "We must hurry to the castle, love! We must inform Princess Zelda of Dalamar!" Walking over to our horses, I called for our fairies to help guide Dalamar, while I secured Link Jr. into the saddle. Then Link and I mounted our horses and headed towards the castle. We had to take it easy since Dalamar could not move very fast due to his injuries, but after some time and a lot of determination, we made it to the castle gates. We made our way across the wooden bridge and into the bustling market. As we crossed the market, I heard the shocked gasps and uttered whispers of the Hylian people as they caught sight of the magnificent griffin that followed behind us. "Look, it's a griffin. By the goddesses, a griffin has shown up in Hyrule. What is one doing this far south?" were just some of the uttered words said by the shocked people of Hyrule. We made our way through the market and down the path that led to Hyrule Castle. When we stopped at the first gate, Palin, another guard I was also friends with, stood still like a petrified rock as the pure shock of the griffin sent him, nearly ghost white. "Oh, by the goddesses, it's a griffin!" he cried, his eyes wide as saucers. "Where in 14 Gaia did he come from? I thought the griffins only lived in the Black Mountains." "We must see the princess, and fast!" Link added, his words ushering urgency. At once, my lord," Palin stammered as he opened the gate and allowed us to pass. By the time we reached the second gate, word had already spread about Dalamar's presence in Hyrule. There at the gates of the Hyrule Castle was Princess Zelda and Impa awaiting our arrival. Her deep blue eyes turned a shade of grey when she set them upon the massive white griffin. "By the goddesses, in all my days I never thought I'd see one of the magnificent noble griffins. You honor us with your presence, O noble griffin," Zelda said as she bowed to Dalamar. He looked at her, his gaze softening upon the look of Zelda's rosy face. He lowered his head, his crystal blue eyes staring down into hers. "Princess Zelda, I presume," Dalamar said, his nostrils flaring with a look of shock. Zelda gasped at Dalamar's knowledge of her name. "Yes, princess, I know all about you. The story of Ganondorf taking over Hyrule has spread to many lands, including to the Black Mountains." "Then my hunch was right. The one in the green who accompanied us here is Link, the hero of Time." I watched as Link gasped, his eyes growing big. "I know all about your great feats, Link, hero of Time." We all just stood there, unable to move. The sudden knowledge that Dalamar possessed had us all frozen in time. I could not believe of all the knowledge the snowy white griffin possessed. But it was often said that those noble creatures never left anything unseen. Please excuse my sudden burst of words without a proper introduction. My name is Dalamar, High Lord of the Griffin Council. The griffin returned, bowing his head down in front of Zelda. Coming out of a state of shock, her gaze returned to the High Lord's face. "Well then, welcome Dalamar, Lord of the Griffin Council," Zelda said mannerfully. "Well, my lord, shall we reside to the palace garden?" Zelda asked. With a smile, Dalamar bowed his head in response. After we resided to the garden, Zelda ordered the servants to bring refreshments and change Dalamar's dressings. Then the one question that was on everyone's mind
want to know the same thing. Everyone wants to know.
was finally spoken.
"So tell me, my lord, how did you come to Hyrule? If I understand correctly, griffins usually don't venture too far away from the Black Mountains,"
Zelda questioned as she took a sip of her herbal tea. "You have understood correctly, princess, but I came to Hyrule under unfortunate circumstances." Dalamar returned as he picked up his cup in his claws and raised it to his beaked mouth. Taking a sip, he sat the cup back down and his crystal eyes faltered. You see, milady, I came here not by choice. We griffins are hardened on how far away from the Black Mountains we can venture. Even as peaceful a race we griffins are, we still have many enemies, and one such enemy of the griffins are the 15 draconians. Dalamar said nonchalantly, his crystal blue eyes staring down into his cup. We have been at war with the draconians for centuries. These evil people have captured and tamed the wild dragons from the poison lands, training these gigantic lizards into doing their bidding. These dragons were once an isolated quiet species, until they came. The Dark Knights, under the follow of the 16 Dark Lord Ariakas of the Shadow Realm. They rampaged and conquered the Poison Lands, capturing the dragons and training them under the rule of darkness. Now these evil knights, under Ariakas' evil rule, are hell-bent on total annihilation of all who oppose them. Bump him, bump him, bump him, bump him. Wah, wah, wah. Dalamar looked solemnly around the garden, haunting memories filling into his mind. His wings folded in distress as he continued. Their first place of conquest was our home on the Black Mountains. When we opposed them, that thrust our people into long centuries of war against the Lord of the Shadow Realm. Now we, once a peaceful people, are fighting every day of our lives in a desperate attempt to keep from falling under Lord Ariakas' dark control. Dalamar's gaze shifted skyward, his claws gripping into the ground beneath him. One day word came in from our air patrol that a group of draconians on Dragonback were camping near Dragon Mount. After the council made a decision that I would be the one to check out the inquiry, I made haste and left on the moment of the wing. Upon my arrival at Dragon Mount, I was ambushed by a draconian on a red dragon. After a long fight in the air, I was struck and wounded by the dragon's powerful claws and acid breath. In my attempt to escape, I was pursued by the dragon until I lost him in Death Canyon just west of here. Then I continued to fly south until I was unable to go any further, and I crashed down into a thicket of trees by the lake you must call Lake Hylia. I must have been there for 2 or 3 days before your hero Link and his wife found me. Dalamar's head slouched, his beak touching the feathers on his neck. I fear that Lord Ariakas is planning to invade the Black Mountains and seize control over my people. That is why I must return to the Black Mountains as soon as I am able to fly. Dalamar said, his tufted ears flattening against his head. Zelda's deep blue eyes stared into Dalamar's faltered eyes.
Don't worry, Lord. I will send Link along with you on your journey back to the Black Mountains. I think you should stay here the night. It wouldn't be wise to travel until sunrise. But one thing is worrying me now. Is this Arrakis planning to invade Hyrule?
Zelda questioned the griffin with fear in her voice. Honestly, milady, I couldn't tell you. For as much as I can tell you, it seems that the Dark Knights have remained solely to the north, but with as much twisted desire Ariakas has, I wouldn't be too surprised if he does plan on spreading his control past the 17 Black Desert. Zelda's fearful look was cast upon me, her blue eyes turning a dull grey. At that moment I knew that if this Dark Lord from the Shadow Realm was indeed planning a dark invasion of Hyrule, I was going to be the sole protector since of my role as part of the ancient Silverlight race. I was an elemental user, one that wields the great power of the forces of nature, and in that I was the strongest protector Hyrule had. I could tell that within Zelda's eyes she was counting on me if such an invasion should happen. But one thing worried me. If such an invasion happened in the near future, would I really be of any use since I was still expecting? At that point I was 6 months pregnant and not too sure what the effects of wielding the great power of the elements would have on Link's unborn child. Lots of questions danced through my mind that night as Link and Dalamar prepared for their departure upon sunrise. As Link prepared his saddlebags, I went over to him and gave him a worried look. "I'm coming with you, no matter what decision you make!" I spat, my face twisting into a scowl. "I remember when you tried to deny me accompanying you to the water temple. If I recall, you just might have ended up a permanent prisoner of Dark Link, and I not gone with you. Link's eyes turned a sudden shade of red as he spoke in an agitated tone.
Listen, Jenna, you don't understand. You're carrying our unborn child, and I think that this time it will be too dangerous for you to come as pregnant as you are. When you accompany me to the
water
temple, you sure as hell wasn't expecting.
Link went pale. The pain of the memory when he found me near dead on the ground in the temple wrenched his heart. I was able to feel his mind wrenching of all kinds of fears of him losing me or his unborn child. But even in light of his ever-growing fears, I was not about to let that stop me from accompanying him along on this journey.
Tried to make me go to rehab. I said no.